that
pizza.
What, Totino's?
Oh, the square pizza you got at school.
Oh.
Welcome to another. Anyways, hold on. Welcome to another episode of Hoosier Nerds podcast. You never ate at school?
No, we had open lunch.
Oh, yeah, that's back when you trusted kids to actually come back to school.
Right.
Well, how a few bad eggs ruined it for everybody else.
I don't know if they still have open lunch or not.
Kokomo does. Western doesn't. Most of the county schools don't. There's a Subway.
We had everything though, man. That was before that Arby's was out there too. Like we had to go into McDonald's down in Dixon and Jefferson, or Wendy's.
Now there's everything right there at the Maple Crest.
Well, Burger King and McDonald's was over there too, at Cedar Crest. So we had stuff we could, you had 40 minutes. So.
Jeez, I remember by the time I got to lunch and got my food, I barely had 5 minutes to eat sometimes. Because I always had the furthest class from lunch or from the cafeteria.
Oh.
And I remember I got in an argument because my teacher held us over one time. I was like, we barely get enough food to begin with. We gotta go.
They held you over for lunch? Is that legal?
Well, he held us in class because he was we had the weird second lunch with we had half our first class, half the class, then we had then we had lunch and we had the other half of class. And we were in the middle of a test.
You split the class?
Yeah.
Seriously, I didn't know that. That's
weird. It was dumb.
What time was your first lunch?
I don't remember, dude. That's been over 10 years now.
I remember my first lunchtime because it was so freaking early in the morning.
Kimberly, do you remember when first lunch was at Western? Was it 10:45 or 11?
Ours was 10:25.
Yeah, it was 10 something.
Yeah, ours. And then like some restaurants weren't open yet. Like Wendy's, they weren't open yet. They didn't open till 11. So if you had the 11:05 lunch, you could go to Wendy's, but you couldn't go to. If you had first lunch, you couldn't go to Wendy's. Or you couldn't go to Pizza Hut either. Because Pizza Hut had 5-minute personal pan pizzas back then.
Why are you talking about lunch?
Oh, we're talking about square pizza.
Oh.
Yeah, we were talking about Tortino's, and I said and then I was talking about how I kind of craved the old square pizza from school.
Yeah.
It was nasty, but it was good.
And I didn't eat at lunch very often. And if I did eat at school, it was candy bar and Coke. That's all I had for lunch. It was $1.50 each. But we always had open lunch. So you had open lunch, Mikey, right?
Yeah. We were one of the last classes to have. There's maybe a class or two after us that had open lunch, but we were one of the last ones.
I thought they still had it because I remember on my bus route driving past Kokomo, and people were zooming out of there at lunchtime.
Maybe it's just upperclassmen who have it now.
Maybe.
I don't know. They really restricted it a couple of years after we got out. So.
It was only juniors or seniors could only had open lunch or something, right?
Something like that, and you had to have it had to be during the study hall. I don't know. I really don't know how they did it, but I just remember them saying they restricted it a lot, and I was like, well, I'm glad I'm not going there anymore.
Right? Yeah, it was a free-for-all when we went. It just, everybody blew out of there if they could.
Yeah.
Cool.
Always have friends with cars. That was the...
Yeah.
That wasn't hard to do back then. We were talking food.
But yeah, you mentioned Pizza Hut. That's what we did a lot too, because it was $5 for the buffet and a water.
Oh, they didn't have that back then. Pizza Hut didn't have. They had a buffet, but it didn't start till later.
Oh.
Because it was Pizza Hut opened at 11, but we had $5 pan pizzas, and they were ready in 5 minutes.
That was for you kids.
Everybody had personal pan pizzas. Noble Romans had pan pizzas. They were these little bitty ones. Yeah, that's what they are. The kid pizzas. That's essentially what they are.
No. That was they had that deal specifically for you kids getting out of school. I feel like.
Oh no, everybody had personal pan pizzas. Like no personal $5 5-minute personal pan pizzas was a huge, like it was a marketing deal. And I had a cousin that worked at Noble Romans, and they used to put pizzas in a truck, those little $5 personal pan pizzas in a truck and drive around town. And they would like go downtown and they would sell them out of the truck. If there were any left over, he'd bring them home, so we would freeze them and then put them in the oven and fire those bad boys back up. Have free pizza all the time. It was like pepperoni or sausage, either one. That's all they had, pepperoni or sausage.
Well, that's how it is. If you go anywhere, like it's you go to a basketball game, and they got pizza. It's like pepperoni, sausage, or cheese, and the
that
cheese
pepperoni
sells
tastes
out
like
fast.
that pepperoni tastes like dog food, though.
Well, it's made to be cheap, and
Or the sausage. I mean, pepperoni was fine. Yeah.
Preserve.
Sausage tasted like dog food. It's hard to get good sausage on a pizza.
I can put good sausage on a pizza.
We want a lot of sausage, Chris. So we don't want half of
Hey,
it. A whole pie.
I never said there was going to be a lot, but there's quality.
My dad worked at the factory. He had a guy that raised pigs and slaughtered them and made his pigs into sausage. Gave my dad a bunch of sausage. We put that on pizza. Oh my God, that's good stuff. Straight out the pig pen. I ain't lying. That and biscuits and gravy. We had biscuits and gravy and put it on pizza, and it was freaking awesome.
So when I first started dating Kimberly, I told her I don't like gravy, and I'm still not the biggest gravy fan.
But what about biscuits and gravy?
No, I don't like gravy at all.
Oh my God, what is wrong with you?
But I will say she has slowly, but surely, been changing my taste buds on that.
I would have never married you.
I would have never married you either.
That's a deal breaker, dude.
You having a penis is a deal breaker enough for me.
No, it's the gravy. That's it. Just the gravy. That was it. That's the deal breaker. At this point in my life.
So if you find a lady who will just make you gravy and like give you like a funnel, you're gonna marry her.
I ain't Elvis Presley where I just drink it straight out the bottle. No, you gotta have it on. Yeah, you gotta have it on like okay. So like whenever we do like any kind of food, like if it's mashed potatoes and gravy, or you gotta have you gotta put your mashed potatoes in, then you gotta make your little lake for the potatoes. But first you throw corn in the mashed potatoes, then you put the gravy on top. Then you cover, like if it's chicken fried steak or even if it's cube steak, everything is covered in gravy.
Ew.
Yeah.
Dude, how do you eat your chicken and noodles? Chris, do you put chicken and noodles on your potatoes?
Yeah.
Okay, just curious.
I'm just not a gravy person that much. It's slowly changing, but
good
do
biscuits
like it.
And gravy is really good.
Do you prefer toast or biscuits?
Me?
Well, I prefer biscuits.
Either one of you.
I prefer biscuits. I like a good jelly.
Shit on a shingle. That's what Dad always said.
I like some good jelly on my biscuits.
I don't know. A good I think I'm leaning towards toast. I like toast a lot.
Now if it's chip beef gravy,
No. No.
Yes, chip beef gravy goes with the toast. Biscuits and like sausage gravy goes with biscuits.
It can't primarily, yes, but like I like if it was like leftovers or something.
Like, yeah, that too, yeah. Or fried chicken. Yeah, like gravy left, like you fried chicken up and then you make milk gravy out of the chicken, fried parts in the frying pan. That's good on toast too. It's good on mashed potatoes. My mom would make fried chicken. Every time she make fried chicken, we got milk gravy out of it.
Yeah. What about meatloaf and gravy?
What is it?
Meatloaf.
We never had gravy with meatloaf.
Never had it. It was gravy. I didn't know that was a thing.
I didn't know that was. I knew it was a thing, but it depended. Sometimes it would be like Mom would make it with like peas and carrots and like bake it in the slow cooker all day. Well, and in other days it was just meatloaf, and then leftovers were made into meatloaf sandwiches.
Well, yeah. I just didn't know because a lot of people eat their meatloaf with ketchup rather than
That's
gravy.
that's what I
That's what
use,
I have on
ketchup.
my meatloaf sandwich is ketchup.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, good meatloaf. Yeah, meatloaf sandwiches are good.
I've never had a meatloaf sandwich.
My dad eats those cold.
Yeah, that's what you do. Yeah, it's cold
Oh.
meatloaf sandwich.
Oh my gosh, I can't do that cold.
I remember one time we went to Kings Island and because we were poor we weren't poor but we were poor. Like Dad, they didn't want to spend a whole bunch of money on crap food, so we packed a cooler full of food. We had meatloaf sandwiches out in the parking lot for lunch.
I've tried to make meatloaf twice in my life. Both times it sucked. So I've never tried. I'm never going to try to make it again.
I have a feeling I've never done it, but I have a feeling it's hard to do because it can come out dry.
Yeah, that's what happened both times. It's like I looked at it and it was still not done, and then I put it back in for like 2 minutes, and then it was just gone.
So you
And
should have left it because it probably would have finished cooking.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's like you take your eye off of it for like 2 seconds, and it's like done.
Like you have to do that. Like with my cookies, I'll pull them out of the oven and they don't look done in the center, but I will pull them out of the oven because I know they'll finish baking on the cookie sheet while it's sitting cooling. So
The best meatloaf, my dad made it. He smoked it.
Oh smoke. That sounds good.
Yeah. I could eat that whole thing. It was awesome.
I love me some meatloaf. I haven't had meatloaf in a long time. I think I had it at what is it called? The Blue Moon or Half Moon. Whatever.
I heard their meatloaf is pretty good.
I've had it twice. Once it was dry, and then the other time it was really good. Best meatloaf I had was in this little cafe in Maggie Valley in North Carolina.
Never heard of Maggie Valley.
Really? You never been to Maggie Valley? It's in North Carolina. It's near. It's just outside of Cherokee.
I don't know where Cherokee is.
It's on the other. Okay, so you're in Gatlinburg, right?
Okay. Oh, I know what you're talking about. I've been there.
Then you take the road and you go across the Newfound Gap, and it dumps you down into Cherokee. You keep going a little farther, and you head out into Maggie Valley. And then there was a cafe there, and it said homemade meatloaf, fresh daily. So, oh my God, it was really good. But anyway, to the meat and potatoes of the episode, I suppose.
We're not a food podcast, but we're
not a food podcast. We're obviously hungry, though.
We are food experts, but
yeah, we love food.
Go ahead with whatever you're going to talk about, Chris.
Whatever. Okay. Well, what do you want, the movie review or do you want the horror? First off, let's do the horror con. We'll go to the Days of the Dead horror con. First off, I want to say that Chicago is the worst city in the whole United States of the world for traffic.
I mean, it's the worst city in general in the country.
Oh my God!
Well,
dude,
second worst city behind.
Why
LA.
is there so many people out at 10 o'clock in the morning in Chicago on the highway, cutting people off, blasting by at 97 miles an hour? I felt like, those old people just stay in their lane and they drive slow, and then everybody drives around them.
Was that you?
That was me.
The old person in your lane.
I'm like, I am not moving unless I have to, because you start moving and then that's when you get hit. But we made it out to Rosemont, which is out by O'Hare. There was a hotel. There's a hotel and convention center. There's restaurants out there. They had ice skating out there too. We missed that though because I didn't see that until we left. But we went to this horror con. It's called Days of the Dead Horror Con, right? And let me tell you, I'm impressed. It's not huge. Like it's not like Indiana Comic-Con big, because it's at a hotel, in the like conference rooms. They make the conference room into one big conference room, basically.
Yeah.
But I was impressed. The booths were really good. The shopping booths. They had a lot of, I mean, many like movie T-shirts, especially horror movie T-shirts. You know, they have them like at Spencer's or Hot Topic. You know.
Yeah.
And
Basically
then
anywhere that sells graphic tees.
right, you can find them at Walmart in Halloween time, or maybe a few here and there at Meijer. These shirts were like they were good, like they were different. I've never seen graphic tees like these for horror movies before. So that was a nice selection. I didn't buy one, but they were $25. You could like buy one for 25 or two for 40. So, but they had a good selection. They had movies, they had toys, a lot of like there was like jewelry and books and comic books, things like that. And the celebrity lineup, which the celebrity lineup was pretty good. I was impressed with the celebrity lineup. They had Ace Frehley from Kiss, right? Except he was in a room all by himself and you couldn't see him at all. Like you had to go in line to meet him, and I didn't do that. But Tracy Lords was there. Alyssa Sutherland, she was in Evil Dead Rise. She is tall. I bet she's over 6 foot tall. Harry Hamlin was there. The guy from the Terrifier 2 and the Mean One, his name is David Howard Thornton. He was there. Danielle Harris from the little girl from Halloween 4 or 5. She was there, and she was in the reboot, the Rob Zombie reboot. Bunch of people from Friday the 13th. Billy Mosley, Jenna Jameson, Charisma Carpenter, Felisa Rose from Sleepaway Camp. So there were a lot of different people there. And Dean Cain was there. And but I just found it like a little bit more intimate as far as like, you know how you go to Comic-Con and like there's this, you know, they got everything roped off and the tables are separate. You can't really they're at least 15, 20 feet away from the walkway, right?
Yeah. You can barely even get a good eye on them to
Exactly.
see what they look like in person.
This was not like this at all. Like there were tables set up and it was like when I met the wrestler. Remember when I met the wrestler?
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was like with every celebrity. You could walk, you could say hi to them. You could, I mean, it was really like everything was really close. But me and Josie went, and we picked up her friend Maddie. Her friend Maddie lives up in Clear Lake, which is near Merrillville, Indiana, on the way up. Because she wanted to meet the guy from the Terrifier. So, and like that guy was like the nicest guy in the world. Like he was joking around with her, and she's like, I loved you. She was like, oh, I loved your performance. I thought it was wonderful. It's one of the best. He's like, oh, stop, please please stop. You know, he was very, very nice. And, but she met him and got her picture taken with him. And so she's like, I thought it was kind of cool because you don't really see this a lot. So that they had a majority of the people, the celebrities that you met, the prices were very fair. Like it was $40 for an autograph. She paid $60 for an autograph selfie combo, which that's a good price, I think, for a celebrity. And most of them were like that because I was looking at the prices. Dean Cain was a little more, but he's a little more everywhere he goes.
Who's Dean Cain?
He was Superman.
Okay. I was like, I know that name. I just can't think of who
Lois
it
and
is.
Clark. Dude, he had Superman capes autographed for $150.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
I thought it was a really cool deal. But it's just a little bit more intimate. Majority of the people was like $60, maybe $70 for a selfie and an autograph. But Maddie was trying to get her phone ready for the selfie, right? And she was like freaking out meeting this guy. Like her hands were shaking because she's trying to get her phone out, you know? That's how nervous she was.
Nerd.
She was totally geeking out. Like she was like, I'm going to pass out. I'm going to throw up. We had to like force her to get in line to meet this guy. But I just thought it was a little bit more intimate. One thing I noticed about the horror fan crowd is that the relationship between the actors and the fans is a lot closer, should I say. than somebody you meet at a Comic-Con. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I think they're a lot more appreciative of their fans. I think they have to work harder to get fans to get their product out
Well,
because
yeah, horror movies are such a more of a niche movie,
right,
and I feel like
exactly.
horror movies are never, there's a lot of horror people have played in horror movies, and there's not a lot of known people.
And I mean, I was watching like we were waiting in line with Maddie, and Felisa Rose sat next to her table was next to his, or a couple down, and she was just her interaction with her fans. They were like, she was really like they were loud and they were laughing and having a good time, and I just think that they're that much nicer. They're not just signing autographs and doing selfies. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
They're a lot more intimate. And then um, we did that. So we were there for probably 3 or 4 hours. As small as it was, we were there for like 3 or 4 hours. Um, they bought a bunch of stuff. I only bought a event T-shirt, but we did a Q and they did a Q&A session with Danielle Harris and Scout Taylor Compton. They were in the reboot to Halloween, Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Yeah.
Scout Taylor Compton was Laurie Strode in that movie, and then Danielle Harris was the sheriff's daughter in that movie, right?
Hmm.
And so, but okay, so Danielle Harris was the little girl in Halloween 4 and 5, right? The little
Okay,
girl in the clown
I'll
outfit.
take your
Okay,
word for
so
that.
in Halloween 4 and 5, there was a little girl, and she dressed up she goes to get an outfit, and it's the same clown outfit that Michael Myers wore when he was a little kid, when he killed his sister, right? And she's got a telekinetic uh, connection to Michael Myers. She sees everything that Michael Myers sees, right?
Well, that's an interesting take on it all.
Right. It's not a bad take. So she was in episode 4 and 5. So one of the biggest gripes, and she was talking about it too, was why she was not invited back
For the
for the
remakes?
for the remakes. The latest ones from 18,
I
on.
mean, if she never died, why not?
Exactly. That's what she's saying. She thinks that they were mad because she did the reboot.
Well, that's not her fault.
Well, that was my theory. Like, who cares? Like, so I think she kind of got robbed on that aspect. That she probably should have been. Her and Taylor, Scout Taylor, they do a podcast together, and they're trying to do like they were talking about. This was a great idea. You know how you can do like cruises with people, like celebrities.
Yeah, there's a Taylor Swift cruise starting up. Mikey, are you signing up? Oh, legit, there's a Taylor Swift cruise starting next year.
But is it Taylor Swift on there? Or is it just Swifties?
It's a
No,
Taylor Swift
no.
themed.
Oh,
I'm
hell, that's like a Disney cruise, though.
Hey, I like her
Oh.
music. I'm not a Swiftie. That doesn't make me a Swiftie. I
Well, this is a great idea though. So they were talking about like limiting the amount of people that can sign up and go to a campground
Oh.
and have that. They were like, that way. They've always heard of like these celebrity cruises things, and a lot of people complain because they didn't get to see this person, or the celebrity wasn't out, or they weren't spending time with the fans, and
The celebrity's not actually on the cruise,
no, they're on the cruise. They're just AWOL on the cruise, basically.
sitting in their private area.
Right. So they were thinking if they did this with a small group of people, they have, they watch movies together, they all eat together, they do campfires together. It's a little bit more of an intimate setting where
Yeah.
they get to know their fans get to know them on a personal level, not just, And I thought that was a great idea. But we did learn they've made a movie together. It's coming out. Danielle Harris is doing a reboot to Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. She was in the original when she was
Never heard of it.
It's a movie with Christina Applegate. It's exactly what it says. Don't tell mom the babysitter's dead. Their mom go out of town. The babysitter she hires is dead, and a teenager has to um, carry the household basically. So apparently it's a reboot. We don't know about this. It's going to be on a streaming service. But It was really a good Q&A session. Danielle Harris talks about how it's hard to get funding. It's hard. It's a lot harder now to get funding for movies than it used to.
Well, yeah, because if the movies don't make their money, I think who was it? It was Matt Damon talked about this. If movies don't make their money in the movie theater, it's not like they're going to get their money in the secondary market anymore.
Right.
You got to make your money in the theater, or not at all, or get picked up by a streaming platform.
But one of the best things, and you could do like they have. Okay, so like when I'm at, like when you meet celebrities at Comic-Con, that you go into like the you go to the back and you get your picture taken with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you could pay that extra here, and you could do it with Danny Harrison, Taylor Scout Compton. That was cool. But they also do selfies at the table, so they offer both.
Oh, like how the Indie Comic Con used to be. You could do selfies at the table, or you could go get like the more professional photos.
Right, they had both. You could do both. And then, but
that's
the guy.
One thing. That's one. It's not to cut you off. But that's one thing I've hated about Indie Comic Con was when they changed that. Was it's just like I just want a selfie. I don't want to go get like a photographer with this.
Right.
I just want a quick selfie, and I don't mind paying $20 or whatever.
Right. Well, the beautiful thing of it was there was a guy there from Scary Movie that played Doofy. Remember Doofy?
Yeah.
I'm just cleaning my room. This guy with his selfies would get dressed up in the Doofy shirt, hat, and a vacuum cleaner in his hand, and he would pose for selfies.
Oh, that's awesome.
As Doofy. Now, I thought that was genius. Because that could be, to me, that seems like a photographer moment, not a selfie moment.
Yeah.
But he really went above and beyond. And I mean, even the guy that was the Terrifier, he had his horn and the little hat that the Terrifier wears in the selfie too. So, all in all, I think
is the Terrifier a movie you did a Not Buster on?
No, the Terrifier is freaking awesome. It's just bloody as hell. It's uber violent.
What's it on?
Terrifier, I don't know. They're both on. I don't know if Terrifier is on anything. I can tell you here in a second.
Oh, okay.
But
you keep talking about it. It's like I need to check out this movie. See what
I think we're gonna go next year to this. I mean, I'll probably do. It's on Freevee. It's on Peacock.
Okay.
Plex. I'm definitely. We went to Chicago because I was doing something the weekend. It was in Indianapolis. Because it was in Indianapolis this past summer.
Horror Con?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think next year we're going to go back to this. It's just I like the vibe of it. Like the fans are very passionate about their movies, about their horror movies. It's kind of cool when it's all just one genre. You know what I mean? Like this is straight up horror. Like there was a family and they were all dressed like the Ghostface from Scream. It was a guy and his wife and 2 daughters, and they were all dressed in Ghostface outfits. I thought that was genius. We just went to Chicago because we knew the Terrifier guy was going to be there, and Maddie wanted to meet him, and it was just a fun day to do something cool,
Yeah.
But I'm definitely going to go back next year to the one in Indianapolis.
So you don't get robbed in Chicago?
Yeah, it was pretty. Well, I just don't want to get taken out or shot on the freeway. We came back on the turnpike.
Oh yeah, because they hijack people all the time on the freeway.
Right, and and there was less traffic, but I don't know how to pay tolls, so I just blew through the.
Well, that's what you do now. You blow through them, then you pay it later online.
Well, that's what I figured. So it was only like 50 cents a toll. It was like $2, I think, total. But we did that. We had a really good time. I highly, highly recommend. Even if you're not a huge horror fan, it is a lot of fun to go to. Like Tracy Lords was there. Jenna Jameson. That's the first time I ever seen a porn star in person. But there was all kinds of neat people there. And if I'd had a little extra money, I probably would have met one of the girls from Halloween. But I didn't have a lot of money. And then, here's the kicker. So there's a restaurant attached to the hotel, right? and it's Caddyshack themed. It's Bill Murray and his brothers. It's
it's like legitimate Caddyshack.
yeah,
theme.
it's their restaurant. It's attached to this hotel.
That's pretty neat.
So we go over there, and it's lunchtime. It's like 12:30, and 12:30, 12:45, and I'm like, let's go eat. I said, then we'll come back. The Halloween Q&A was at 2.
Did you have to take over and be like the pro con goer?
Yeah, basically. Well, we go in there and we put our name in, and they're like, it's like 35 minutes. Well, we had waited 35 minutes, and there was still another couple ahead of us. Plus, we wanted to go to the Q&A at 2:00, and I was like, I said they've got snacks out in the lobby. Let's just grab snacks, and then we'll just grab food on the way home. Okay, and they're like, that's fine. So we go to the gift shop at the Crown Plaza Resort or Crown Plaza Hotel in Chicago, O'Hare. We get 3 bottles of soda pop, right? I get a bag of the share size M&Ms,
Yeah.
Josie got a bag of Cheetos, and Maddie got a bag of combos. And
They still make combos?
Yeah. It cost us $26.
How can you even live in a city like that?
I was like, holy shit. That's exactly what I said to the lady after she told me, because I wasn't. I'm like, are you serious? I was like, oh my God. I mean, I probably got off. It probably would have cost me $60 in that restaurant easy anyway. So I kind of got off easy, and we would have stopped on the way home. So yeah, we had that for lunch for $26. Then we had Chick-fil-A on the way home. But yeah, I hate Chicago. The only way I'm going back now, we might go see Metallica next year. They're playing at Soldier Field next summer. So we might go see them because Ice Nine Kills opens for them, and Josie's a big Ice Nine Kills fan. So other than that, I have no reason to go to Chicago anymore, ever. I don't want to fight that traffic. I don't want to almost die on the highway in downtown Chicago. And they just scrape that shit to the side like a dead animal. They don't even take care of it.
Well, you don't even get a burial. They just leave you to the wolves.
And what's sad is I would love to go up there. I seen what I could see of the city, especially on the south side, which is actually the worst side. There are so many cool places that would be neat to go and photograph. But you can't even do that without getting shot, probably, or robbed, or both. So
I've always been a big proponent of at least in Indy, of you mind your own business, no one's gonna bug you.
Right.
But Chicago, it's you just see it. You wear the wrong color, you're gonna be 6 feet under.
Exactly. What's that camera for? What are you, who knows? What are you, undercover? Are you spying on me, or why you take that picture of me? I was glad that this was in Rosemont and not downtown Chicago. I think if it was downtown Chicago, I'm not sure I'd have went.
Well, I don't think I would have. I think you would have not even told what's her face to go.
No, I didn't. No, but Rosemont, there was between that show, there was a sports card, trading card autograph show going on, plus a car show going on all at the same time. Parking was cheap. It was only $15 for the day, which is surprising. Because when you go to Indianapolis, it's $20 or more.
Did they have armed security?
No. It was that Rosemont, I think, is a nicer part of Chicago. We got there a little early, so we went to this outlet mall, and it was a nice mall, and the clientele was really nice. So, I just think that that's a better part of the city. I don't think that's a huge crime area. Plus, the airport being there, they probably can't have high crime. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I highly recommend it. Days of the Dead Horror Con. Check it out. It's a lot of fun. Meet a favorite actor, actress from a horror movie. It's fairly inexpensive.
I feel like horror movie stars are a little more genuine too.
And they are. And they were talking about that at the Q&A was they've learned from some A celebrities is you have to be nice to everybody. Be nice to everybody. For everybody in the crew down, everybody, catering, security, be nice to everybody. And I think that they take care of their people more because they're probably not in it. They probably have to work more to make money as opposed to an A-list celebrity.
Mm-hmm.
So they probably have to be that much kinder because you don't want a bad rep of being hard to work with or being an a-hole.
Yeah, you don't have the.
You don't have that luxury.
Yeah, you can't be Tom Cruise and
Right.
Be an asshole to everybody and get away with it, or Christian
Right.
Bale.
I thought the same thing was Christian Bale. It was the first one I thought of with Christian Bale.
I was trying to think of somebody. I know Tom Cruise has got like a 50-50 one. Like I've read he's hard to work with, but he's also like amazing to work with. So I was trying to think of somebody else, and Christian Bale just came to my mind.
Oh, good for you. He went off and yeah.
Yeah.
But
what was the movie you saw?
Thanksgiving. Now this one was it was Eli Roth movie, right?
Uh-huh.
I saw it yesterday. Josie, dumbass, she didn't read her tweet, or her text, so she didn't go with me. So that's her loss. But this movie had Patrick Dempsey in it and Gina Gershon, that's fairly decent. I've never seen Patrick Dempsey in a while. That's McLovin, ain't it, or whatever his name is?
I think so.
From McSteamy, I don't know. And then Rick Hoffman is in a bunch of stuff too. He's an actor. He's just been in a lot of stuff. He's in Suits, I know. But basically, this guy owns a store in this little sleepy town of like New Salem, I think is what it's called. New Plymouth. I'm sorry, or West Plymouth in Massachusetts.
Are there a bunch of pilgrims walking around?
Yes, yeah, they do the whole pilgrim thing, right? So he opens his store on Thanksgiving night, right? Like Walmart would.
Yeah.
And like there's this great big stampede at the store on Thanksgiving night, and like 3 people die from the stampede.
Oh my gosh. So like real life at Walmart.
It's bloody as hell. This movie is like gross bloody. So anyway, this guy is walking around with an axe in a mask of John Smith, just hacking people up. It's kind of like Scream meets I Know What You Did Last Summer meets reality. But it's a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun watching this movie. I don't want to give too much away. The Massachusetts accents are horrible. It reminds me of South Park and Shitty Walk.
So it's one of those, they do it horrible on purpose.
They do it, yeah.
Give me your best Boston accent.
I'm going to park the car. Go to the store, go to the Packy, get some beer. That's exactly what it was like. That's how bad it was. But it wasn't like they were making fun of him. It was just like a poor imitation, but it was acceptable. Going to the Packy, get some beer. But I highly recommend it if you're into horror movies and movies. There's not enough Thanksgiving movies out there, much less Thanksgiving horror movies out there. So go check it out. And then I'm in a quandary because I don't know what I got to do because I want to see Napoleon, right? We've talked about this, Chris.
Yeah.
So Napoleon, I could go Thursday, which is Thanksgiving Day at noon, right? But then I'm missing the first football game. But I've got to bake cookies. So I was thinking I could go to the movie tomorrow night to see Napoleon. And then just bake cookies on Thanksgiving early afternoon because I don't have to go till dinner time. My Thanksgiving doesn't start till the evening. And then I wouldn't miss football.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah. Unless you got something that you were going to do tomorrow instead.
No, I was going to bake cookies tomorrow night, but I could go to the movie tomorrow night.
You can have fresher cookies Thursday.
Well, that's what I thought. They would be fresher on Thursday.
Yeah.
And I'm keeping a dozen back of each. I'm making M&Ms and chocolate chips, so I'm going to keep a dozen back of each. So I can, sit at home and do nothing this weekend and just eat cookies and watch Christmas movies. But Thanksgiving's good. Day of the Dead, HorrorCon, better than Indiana Comic Con, I think. I'm sorry.
Apparently everyone watches Band of Brothers this time of year for some reason.
Yep.
Do they really?
I think that's when it like started.
Oh, okay.
I think it's that's one of those. That's kind of like just when we agree when it started or something. So we watch it.
What was the significance of it starting in Thanksgiving? Was there a significance to
like
it?
the battle or like the show?
The show. I
Show,
don't think there's a significance. It's just the prime time for shows.
Yeah.
Because this is about the time back in the day, especially back in the day when shows would start kicking off.
True.
I think that's it, but I know that's a thing. Like this is the time of year when you'd see it on like,
the first air date. That's gotta be that's weird. First air date was September 9th of 01. 2
Yeah,
days.
but we did. Yeah, but of 01, but they didn't put all of them on at the same time. It was like every week.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a weekly show.
Like Game of Thrones was.
Yeah.
And there's a new
highlights.
Christmas movie coming out. It's a John Woo movie. No, James Wan or James Woo. I don't know. It's one of those guys. It's got a Christmas movie coming out where this guy, his family gets caught up in a drive-by shooting. Yeah, Silent Night. A grieving father enacts his long-awaited revenge against a ruthless gang on Christmas Eve. They shoot his family up in the in the front yard. So he seeks revenge on them. It comes out December 1st. That's John Woo is director of that. So that comes out soon.
Who's John Woo?
John Woo did Face Off
That's right.
and I don't know, The Crossing. He did those kind of movies. Wind Talkers. He did Wind Talkers.
Oh, great movie.
That is a great movie. That's a very underrated movie. He did MI2, which wasn't very good. He did Broken Arrow. Ooh, Hard Target with Van Damme. Hell yeah. Bullet to the Head. And then there is, I saw the Aquaman previews, and I'm kind of intrigued by it. I'm not going to lie.
Are you?
I am. Because I remember the bad guy from the Super Friends. Not Mysterio.
Who's the bad guy?
I don't know. I just know what he looks like. He's got big eyes and he's got tubes coming out of his head. And hang on, I'll tell you. Plus, I wanted to make more money than the Marvels. So.
Well, that's good enough reason then.
Black Manta.
Oh, he was in the last one.
Yeah.
No. Was he?
Yeah.
It's probably going to be better. I haven't seen the trailer, but it's probably better than the trailer, which I did see for that.
It looks good. I'm not going to lie. It actually looks decent. So I might go see it.
It's probably going to be better than Madam Web or whatever her name is.
Oh, God. I
what
saw
the hell was
trailer
that about?
I don't know. It's Sony trying to do something with their rights to Spider-Man.
Is it Chick Spider-Man?
Yeah.
But wasn't there a Chick Spider-Man anyway?
Yeah, Gwen, Spider-Gwen.
I remember Spider-Girl on the Spider-Man cartoon when I was a kid on the cartoon. But she was like hot. But this is all chicks. Sydney Sweeney, Isabella Merced, Dakota Johnson, Emma Roberts, Adam Scott's in it. So it's an all chick cast essentially. Hey, Mike Epps from Indianapolis. But they're not like with Spider-Man. Like they're carrying their own movie.
Yeah.
That's gonna be like the Marvels.
They never learn. But I think they're all established characters like in the comic book, so it's not going to be exactly.
No, but Who wants to see that? Here's the problem. I don't think women are flocking to the theater to see superhero movies.
No, if we, I hate to say it, but if it was, that they would, then the WNBA would probably be the best, best selling thing out there.
Right. I mean, women are going to Barbie movies. I mean, honestly, they want love stories. That's why everybody watches. That's why them freaking nasty ass Christmas Hallmark movies are so damn popular. That's what
Every
women want to
Hallmark
see.
movie is a copy paste of the last one.
And you know what? Them bitches eat it up. They will sit there and watch them all day long. The same movie with different people, 27 different times.
Just a different town.
It's a different town, same premise. Big city guy comes home, or big city woman comes home and falls in love with the local yokel, quits her job and moves into the small town or saves the business. That's what they want. That's what women want to see. They don't want to see women in Spider-Man costumes. I'm sorry. Some do. You know what they want to see? They want to see men in Spider-Man costumes. They want to see the bulge. They want to see the muscles. They want to see Jason Momoa. That's what they want to see.
Heck, I want to see Jason Momoa.
Honestly, I mean, do they? I mean, what's a bigger draw, Jason Momoa or Brie Larson?
Jason Momoa.
Exactly.
Jason Momoa got his start defending Atlantis, and now he is defending Atlantis again.
So, I mean, you got to learn. And who's the new guy for Star Wars that's gonna, make everything horrible again?
The guy that's the new head of Star Wars?
Yeah.
He's been the guy that's been writing everything. All the good stuff, he's the one that's been writing it.
Is that like Andor? Because that was not good.
No, he was the head of the Clone Wars, the cartoon. He was the executive, like one of the executives behind Mandalorian. He is, let's put it this way. Lucas handpicked him for a lot of things.
Oh, okay.
He is Lucas's pick for a lot of things.
But we're years out, right? Please tell me they're going to take a break and not just inundate us with just crap.
I don't think we'll get another movie for a while, but we're going to keep getting shows.
Those shows suck, dude.
The thing is people loved Andor. I hated it.
I thought it was boring. I didn't even finish it.
I don't know. And I want to give Andor another try. Mandalorian had a down season, but that it happens.
I don't think I even finished it, honestly.
But what's his face? Mando's not even going to be the head in the main person of the show anymore. They're switching it to Bo-Katan, which I'm okay with. And
it's that stupid puppet. Like, I don't give a shit about that. Like,
well,
they sold us.
Thing,
they sold us the Mandalorian in the very first few episodes. Sold us that he was going to be this outlaw bounty hunter,
gunslinging bounty hunter.
Yeah, and then we ain't had it since they had them sparkly motorcycle thingies like you ride at the fair.
That was Boba Fett.
No, that wasn't Boba Fett, was it?
Boba Fett was the was the scooters, the scooter gang.
Oh, okay. Which that reminded me of that TV show, Son of the Beach. There was a show called Son of the Beach. Howard Stern produced it, and there was a bike, a gang on bikes, right? It was Neil Patrick Harris was the leader, and they all wore leather, and they were riding bicycles instead of motorcycles. And the mayor of the town was Anita Massengill. Look it up. It's called Son of the Beach. It was a great show. It's hysterical. It was on FX. It was like a spoof of Baywatch is what it was like. But they had a bicycle gang. And they were all leather and they were tough, but they rode bicycles. That's what that sparkly thing reminded me of in Boba Fett. But I'm not sold on anything new Star Wars. I think it's all shitty.
I think for the most, this is what I think. Star Wars and Marvel need to take a 5 to 10 year hiatus.
I mean, it's worked. I mean, it worked, between episode 6 and episode 1. Then we were
And
still
then between
disappointed.
episode 3 and episode 7.
Right. And that works perfect. And I mean, even instead of like churning out movies, like when the first 3 Star Wars movies came out, it was every 3 years.
Yeah, they don't need to come out every year or every 2 years.
Right.
I get it. You want to pump it out and get the money as fast as possible, but
well, I mean, if you want to do a side story like they did with like Rogue One,
and I even still say Solo was pretty good.
Ugh, I didn't.
We won't get back into that because that is a whole thing, but it's still, do the main movie, do the main trilogy, then have your side story. Right. Give us a movie about a gunslinging bounty hunter, or give us some rogue Jedi. Give us a movie about or like a rogue Jedi trying to like stop something. Right. I don't know. There's plenty. That universe is so expansive. There's so much they can do.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't want to be inundated and just get a bunch of garbage, because that just seems like what we're doing.
I hate to say it, I am really tired of the whole Empire era. I'm tired of stormtroopers. Yeah, it's cool, but I'm tired of stormtroopers. I'm tired of the Emperor. I'm tired of Vader. Give me something else.
As long as they ain't CGI, I don't care.
But you know what I mean? You feel me on that one?
I know what you're saying. Yeah, I mean the whole who's the leader of the dark side, and then you make up first it's Snoke. No, it's not Snoke. It's the dead guy that looks like a marionette. And yeah, no.
How was he not vaporized when the Death Star exploded?
Exactly. That's kind of like when they cut frickin' what's his name in half and threw him over. Same thing.
Maul. Yeah. So as much as I see what you're saying of like why'd they bring him back,
you can't bring him back. It's impossible.
You can't bring him back, but if you actually sit down and watch the Clone Wars and what little bit of Rebels he's in, he's really well written.
If you watch those cartoons and smoke pot and drink some beer, then it all makes perfect sense.
No, it actually makes sense. Pretty clear-minded. So
it doesn't. There's no way they cut him in half.
He was so
gets
angry,
cut in half and he turns into a Force ghost.
Well, why does Qui-Gon Jinn get stabbed in the gut and dies, but every other character that's been stabbed in the gut survives?
Han Solo got stabbed in the gut and died too.
Yeah, but he fell off the side. If he didn't fall off into the
okay,
thing.
so Darth Maul got cut in half and then fell over the side too.
Well, how do you know Solo's not going to come back? They brought Palpatine back.
They should never brought Palpatine back.
You know why?
So don't ever bring back
Han
Solo
won't bring
either.
him back. You know why we would know they won't bring him back? Because he doesn't want to play it anymore.
You got Carrie Fisher floating around in space like damn Mary Poppins. This is the crap we got. I'm not happy about it. So we got to be really careful on what they give us. And I do want to point this out. They were talking about to go back to the horror con. They were talking like Danielle Harris was talking about her character not being in the new Halloween movies, and that's an issue with the fans. And she says, I do not understand why the movie industry does not listen to what the fans want, not just in horror movies, but in general. She said that, and she says, give the fans what they want, and they will go to the theater. And she's right.
All the fans have been asking for is for Star Wars. The fans have been asking for an Old Republic story, and they have yet to give it to us.
Well, as long as it's not like Attack of the Clones, will be okay.
Oh no, Old Republic is like 2,000 years before what we've seen. It's like the Sith Empire versus the Jedi led Republic. Like it's the olden. Like the Jedi were like actual like peacekeepers.
Oh no, I would take it. It's got to be. It's. I want something fresh. I want something good. I don't want something stupid to bring people back and just give me a whole. That's what I loved about Rogue One was it was all. I didn't know who any of those people were till the end, except Grand Moff Tarkin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was the only one I knew.
And they sprinkled in like little people, like, hey, there's what's her name, the only other lady in Star Wars, or there's the Leia's dad type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love the way they did it, and that's why that worked.
Yeah,
Those two characters were great.
and it didn't rely on space magic.
No,
It
they had to
was
do it. That
it
was
was a
just
spy story with Vader kind of in the background as the boogeyman, because we all knew who Vader is, but he wasn't really there.
and you still had your little ounce of comedy there with freaking Alan Tudyk and that robot.
Yeah, and it wasn't like
It wasn't
and I keep
forced.
seeing it. It wasn't forced like two screaming goats in Thor: Love and Thunder.
Right. So I don't know. Hopefully, maybe this guy will listen to the fans. I think the movie industry.
He does. He's unlike Kathleen Kennedy. He's actually a fan of of it, because he himself has said he's read most of the remember the expanded universe, all the books that they got rid of when Disney bought Lucasfilms.
Right.
He's read a lot of those books. So
I mean, if you want
he's got a understanding of.
I mean, even if you want to go back and talk about what happened between after Jedi and before Force Awakens, and just have somebody new play Luke Skywalker. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. You know what I mean?
They did it already for Mandalorian.
I mean, why not? I think that would be great. And how, Vader's looking for him, and does he go into hiding? He doesn't go into hiding then because he trains, Leah's son.
Well,
talk about that. Just make a whole new story about it.
There's a lot of theories going on right now that they're going to delete the whole trilogy.
Original?
The sequel trilogy, because
I've heard that too.
In Rebels, they introduced something called the World Between Worlds, where they kind of can travel through time, and that's why Ahsoka was never killed. Ahsoka died in Rebels. Vader killed her, but she was brought back to life because right before she died, what's his face? I can't think of the guy that they went off chasing in Ahsoka. I can't think of his name all of a sudden. He pulled her through time back to the future and saved her. So the theory is they're going to use that World Between Worlds where Ahsoka fought Anakin in the Ahsoka series to delete the whole Snoke and First Order storyline. And that's what the Ahsoka series is. Because the Ahsoka series is because Ahsoka was Dave Filoni's brainchild. That was his character. That was his thing into Star Wars. She's probably the most well-written character for Star Wars. So that might be the whole thing of this show, is to give the fans what they want and reset Star Wars. Make it as if the sequel trilogy never happened. So Force Awakens, Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker. Which I would feel kind of bad because, people put a lot of work into those, but at the same time, the fans in general hate those movies or dislike them.
Yeah, I mean, I can watch Force Awakens over.
I can watch Force.
Those other two, not so much.
The last half of Force Awakens is like perfection.
So I don't.
So, speaking of Disney, I want to talk about. So I dropped Disney.
I dropped Disney as well.
Because when we first got Disney, I got it like the first month it came out, like actually the day of it came out.
Yeah, so did I.
And what was it, like $60 a month, $80 a month? No,
it was $90 a month or $90 a year.
$90 a year. That's what I meant. Yeah, and so I kept it, and it's gotten to the point where I didn't want to drop it because I liked watching movies, the old movies on it and things, but I dropped it because I think it's now. I just pulled it up. Give me 1 second.
It's
how much?
$139.
$139 a year.
It was $100. It went up to $100 a year, which I still paid. Last year was $99, which I still thought that was a good deal.
That's a good deal for the catalog that platform has.
Right.
But now for $139 a year is not worth for maybe two shows that you might watch and a bunch of movies that are flopping left and right.
Well, that's their punishment for not going to see their shitty movies. Oh, you're not going to go to the box office to see your shitty movies? We'll raise the price at Disney.
Well, they got to make money somewhere.
Yeah.
Even though they're making money, plenty of money at Disney World and Disneyland.
Way too much.
Disney is not hurting for money.
No.
Yeah, their movies aren't doing good, but they got so many other revenue streams. It's not even funny.
ESPN's dying a slow death, and they can't figure out why.
It's because they politicize
Disney,
it.
are they that blind and stupid they can't figure out why nobody's going to their movies or nobody's going, or watching ESPN anymore? I'm watching ESPN. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm watching Bally Sports, actually. Pacers
What about the Pacers?
They're getting killed. It's 78-58.
They're a young team still, but
in the second quarter, that's ridiculous.
They were doing pretty good. They just fallen off all of a sudden.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe they're tired. But yeah, I'm not spending $140 a year for Disney just to see Star Wars.
Yeah,
that's essentially what I watched.
My bi-yearly Marvel watch through.
Yeah, I mean, there's other ways to watch those movies, so I'm more of the DC Batman guy anyway, so I can watch those on HBO.
We also are jumping on her parents, so it's like it's not a big loss because we were gonna. It was like why also pay for it when we can just use her parents?
I don't watch it. I don't.
Oh, that's the thing. Like we watch it because we like watching, Pixar or Disney movies. They're fun to watch. Mikey watches it probably because of Graceland.
I was thinking about this today. So, okay, so how, because we were talking about streaming services, we're talking about Disney and HBO and Hulu and Paramount, right?
Uh-huh.
All you watch are movies you've seen a million times over and over again, right? I know I do. I'm guilty of it, right? So do we watch those all the time just because they're available to us or because there are no good shows out that are new anymore?
Because there's no good shows that are out that are new anymore. I don't know. There's shows. The problem with shows is you either get the show that's 6 to 8 episodes if you're maybe 10 if you're lucky a season.
But I'm talking about like network shows.
Oh, well, I don't have network. I don't have cable TV. So
I don't watch network. I'd watch network for sports.
I don't know the last network show that I was excited for.
I can't either. Big Bang Theory, for me. Well, Young Sheldon. This is the shitty part. So this is the final season of Young Sheldon, right?
Uh-huh.
Because of the strike, we only get 14 episodes.
Jeez.
That's some bull crap. So you get 3/4 of a season because you're usually about 22 episodes.
Yeah.
We're getting 14. And it starts in like February. But other than Young Sheldon, that was the only network show I watch. I don't watch. And I did find Hunter and Chips on Plex. So I'm pretty excited about that. But I think part of it is I think that networks tried to keep up with like cable shows and like you had to, if you didn't watch every episode, you were lost. And I think that hurt people. Because I know when I was a kid growing up, I mean, even you could watch Little House on the Prairie, you could watch The Waltons, I could watch Chips or Knight Rider or Miami Vice, and it was a new show every week. It was a new story. You didn't have to like, oh crap, I missed an episode. What did I miss? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you didn't have to find it on a streaming platform somewhere.
Well, basically, you didn't have to wait till summertime when they did reruns.
Yeah.
But it didn't affect the storyline of the show. It was just a new show every week.
That was the one thing with like Star Trek. Remember, Star Trek used to be, the ship of the week or the disaster of the week, and now it's you got to watch everything.
You got to watch every
Game
episode.
of Thrones when Game of Thrones, it was like you miss an episode, it's like you can't even go in public.
Right, exactly. So I don't know. I just missed that aspect. I missed the aspect of that. I missed the aspect of a sitcom. Kids don't watch TV anymore. I mean, Josie's a perfect example. Unless she sits down to watch a movie or something, she watches YouTube or she plays video games or she's
Well,
listening to music.
I hate to say it, that's how I kind of am anymore. Unless I don't really sit down to watch movies or TV shows as much as I used to. It's like I'll sit and watch a YouTube video because I find it more interesting, or um, I don't game as much as I used to, but like
I,
most
do-
of the
I
time, TV shows and movies are just background noise for me.
Yeah, the same. Or I'll do documentaries. I watch a lot of documentaries, especially this year or this time of year, because
Chris, there's a
tomorrow,
documentary on Netflix. Do you have access to Netflix?
no, but I can probably find something.
They Shall Never Die Young.
What's
It's
it
a
about?
it's a World War One documentary about British soldiers, or just basically World War One,
Uh-huh.
and they actually like it was like a big like few year work because what they did was like all the old like color or black and white, no voice, no sound. They
Uh-huh.
put in they had lip readers read and write down what they were saying in the
Oh,
video.
really?
So they narrate, they have the voices in there. And then like the guns, they went and shot and recorded real gun sounds.
Oh, cool.
And some of the artillery they even had to like the Dutch War Museum even like let them shoot off a couple of their artillery to get the authentic artillery sounds. And
Yeah.
I'm about halfway through it, and they were talking about how like a guy fell in mud and was like sinking in the mud, but they couldn't save him because they would get shot if they tried to save him in the mud. So they just
Oh, I mean
watched
that
him
makes
slowly
sense. I
die
think
in the mud in front of them.
tomorrow is the 60th anniversary of the Kennedy assassination. So, happy Kennedy Assassination Day. One day early.
The
60
there's going to be
years.
some champagne popping in the CIA.
Yeah, right. My dad, my dad remembers where he was. He told me the story of where he was when he found out Kennedy was shot. He heard it on the radio. My grandmother, his mom, was getting her hair done at the beauty parlor, and he was going to pick her up, and he heard on the radio, on the way to pick her up, that Kennedy had been shot, and he said the whole country shut down. Like nobody went to work, nothing. All they did was watch the news. It was just constant news on the networks. There were only 3 channels. You know what I mean? And he said he was watching TV and he saw Oswald get shot on that Sunday. Was it Sunday?
Yeah,
Sunday.
it was like
Yeah.
2-3 days later.
Yeah, Sunday. He was watching TV and he saw Oswald get shot live on TV. So it's pretty amazing. But everybody, they always say, it's kind of like everybody knows where they were when 9/11 happened. Everybody knows where they were when Kennedy was shot. Me, I know where I was when Johnny Damon got traded from the Red Sox to the Yankees.
I know where I was when Darius Leonard got traded got released.
Darius, Shaquille Leonard, or whatever his name.
Yeah, I also call him Darius Leonard. I mean, I'm upset
Are you gonna
they
be? Are
dropped
you
him,
gonna mark
but
this day as a day of infamy for you?
no, because I've been I don't want to say against him, but I've been kind of I was a
He
big
hasn't
supporter of
played
him.
well this year.
He hasn't played well this year. Not, I wish him all the best, but he hasn't played well this year. He's always hurt. And I know that's not his problem or like his fault, but he is always hurt. And he only had 2 or 3 good years anymore.
Do you ever wonder about? Does it seem like people get hurt more now than ever? And they're supposed
I
to
don't
be
know.
in their
Like
best shape ever.
they show like the stats of like there's less injuries now, but it just seems like it's more the big names now.
Did you see the tweet I posted, the retweet of Tom Brady talking about the current state of the NFL?
I saw the clip. I need to watch it.
He doesn't like it because he's like, you play this game, you're going to get hurt. He's like, he says, if I knew I was playing against Ray Lewis, I didn't throw in the middle because Ray Lewis would be there, and he's going to hurt whoever I'm throwing to, and I need that guy on my team. He says, you had people like Ronnie Lott, Lawrence Taylor, you had all these guys that made John Lynch. They were known for being an impactful player. They hit hard, right? And you knew don't throw in that area. If you do, you risk your receiver or tight end getting hurt, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't play like that anymore because we're so worried about people getting hurt that you can't. They've ruined the game. You can't. He says, I'm not even sure I can play in this game right now. He says it's just not the same. And I kind of agree with him. I mean, if you're that much of a prima donna and worried about getting hurt, don't play the game. I mean, I know when I was a kid, like you had to get people. I mean, I guess they played with concussions back then, but you'd have to really get drilled in the dirt to be out. These guys played hurt. They didn't care. They didn't sit the bench if they didn't. Oh, I got hurt. No, let's get your ass up off the bench and finish the game.
Well, they're also, dying in their 50s now.
Well, they're not all of them. I think a lot of. I think it. Just everyone, just some of them. I mean, but that's the risk, dude, of being a football player. It's a dangerous game. It's no different. I was thinking about this earlier. It's no different than being a race car driver. If you go to the racetrack, I know when I go to the racetrack, I can get hurt by a flying piece of debris. I know that I could see somebody die on the racetrack or get injured on the racetrack because that's what happened when I was a kid. When did we become a society where it's unacceptable for people to get hurt playing sports?
It's not unacceptable, but if it can be prevented.
But it's
I don't
full
want
contact football though.
Yeah, but I don't want my kid out there playing with 3 concussions and a broken wrist.
Well, no,
just to play the sport. If he gets a concussion, I'm not gonna let him play.
I get that part, but what I'm saying is, I mean,
no. You're saying, hey, you got a concussion, rub some dirt in it. Let's get back out there.
No,
kid.
I said that's what it was like when growing up when I watched.
And that's what it sounded like you want it now. Go rub some dirt in hey, your leg's broken. All right, here we said it. Get back out there.
I'm just saying that it just seems like there's more serious injuries now than there used to be when I watched them because I don't know if they were allowed to play hurt more back then. That's all I'm saying. But I do think that game was more fun to watch than it is now.
Also, back in the day, the players had more say. Now, if the doctors say you sit, you sit.
Well, I mean, I think that's part of it too. It's protect the brand. The player has a brand to protect. The team has a brand to protect.
I don't blame the player. I'd rather.
I do.
Like Andrew Luck, I would rather be able to see my kids grow up than play another year of football.
I mean, you've always had people quit early for certain reasons or due to injuries. I mean, Joe Namath got hurt young. Gale Sayers, a lot of their careers were cut short due to injury. But I mean, some of them guys they just seemed a lot more doughier, but tougher. I mean, there's no way a quarterback could go out and party till 4:00 in the morning and then throw a game-winning drive together that afternoon. And I mean, and Kenny Stabler did that every Sunday. You know what I mean? You just can't do that anymore. I would like to know what changed. What has changed?
Well, I think everybody's
a
better athlete now. Everybody's bigger, stronger, faster, hits harder.
I don't think they hit harder. I don't think they're allowed to
bigger and faster and stronger.
I mean, watch old.
Look at the size difference. Look at the muscle definition difference between players back then and now.
Well, I agree with that, but I think that the hitting harder. I think they hit harder back then than they do now.
I don't know. I think you're just acting like an old man.
No, that's just reality.
I got a VHS of I got a good old VHS of a Raiders win for you to watch.
There's things I watch for a reason. I watch racing because it's dangerous and I like to see people overcome that danger. But I know in the back of my head somebody can get hurt doing it. That's what I accept that. I accept that when I go to the racetrack, that somebody could get seriously hurt or die. I accept that as a racing fan. You can't say it's unacceptable. If you say it's unacceptable, you have no business watching. If you're worried about your guy getting hurt on the football field, don't watch football. Hockey's the same way. Dude, hockey, they play with broken ribs. This guy played with a lacerated kidney like 3 years ago in the freaking Stanley Cup Finals because his team needed him. So, as they call them in the NHL, they're a bunch of Sallies, basically. Just my opinion.
It's your right to have, but you're wrong.
I'm not wrong. But nothing's changed in the NHL. Everything's the same. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed in the NHL.
It's changed.
No, it hasn't. They still fight. They still hit hard. They still play.
But you can't have the goons. You can't do certain things anymore.
Yeah, you still have goons every once in a while.
Yeah, but they're not. Not every team has the goon.
I think the game has
changed.
changed. I think the game, like offensively, has changed where you don't have goons anymore, but you still have people that fight. You still have aggressors.
Anyways, we're going to end it there. Thank you for listening to another episode of Who's Your Nerd podcast. You can catch us at Pod Nerds on Twitter, Who's Your Nerds on Facebook. Your favorite. You can watch us on YouTube at Who's Your Nerds on YouTube.
I ain't even messing you up this time.
And your favorite podcasting sites, iTunes, TuneIn, Spotify, and Amazon. That one.
Amazon, that one.
Sorry, I forgot about Amazon. Amazon is not important in my head for podcasting. It's just one of the ones that we put up. Sorry for anybody that listens on Amazon. That one person that decides to listen through Amazon. And that person will never know who's your nerds.
Rhythm.